Leather jewelry is on trend right now, so I'm going to show you how to make an easy pair of leather earrings. Hey guys, Susan Thomas here. Today I'm going to show you how to make some knotted leather hoop earrings. They look complicated, but they actually come together really, really easily. We're going to take some links, we're going to add a little bit of leather, then a little bit of length. You're going to wear them and look fantastic. To get started making these earrings, you guys are going to need some simple tools and supplies. First of all, as far as tools are concerned, you're really just going to need a good flush cutter and a pair of chain nose pliers for opening and closing things. And then we're going to use quick links as our basically the base for our leather links that we're going to make. And the nice thing about quick links is they are rings. They are not open rings, they're closed, so they're really, really sturdy. We're gonna have the largest one here. This one's about 1 inch in diameter, and then one of the smaller ones that's about 1/4 inch in diameter, and then a medium size that's about 1/2 inch in diameter. And then you're gonna need a pair of ear wires, and for each earring, you're gonna need about 3 feet of leather cord. And you're gonna wanna use a 1.5 millimeter leather or smaller. If you go bigger than that, it gets a little bit hard. So we're gonna stick with 1.5 or less. Then also, I've just got a little bit of this GS Hypo Cement. That's just to, when we cut the leather, you're gonna wanna secure it with a little bit of kind of soft but strong glue. And that's what this is right here. All right, to get started making these, we're gonna start with 3 feet of leather cord and one of your larger links. Now, I've got one of them done right here just because this one's actually gluing right now, just so you can kind of see where we're going with this and what it's gonna look like when we're done, because I'm gonna be doing some lark's head knots around these links, and that's what it's gonna look like when we're finished. This little pair right here is one that I made in black and silver, but it's all just this 1.5 millimeter leather on these links. So in order to get started, you're gonna take your 3 feet of leather and you're just gonna divide it in half, like so. So, got a little loop right here. You're gonna pick up your large link, take that loop, put it through the link, and then take both of the other cords and pull them through the loop, just like so. And that gets you started. If you look at this side, you can see that looks like a little lark's head knot. And so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna be going side to side using one piece of the leather. So it's very important that when you get started doing these lark's head knots that you start with the first knot facing upward. So you want that kind of bump, see him right there? That little bump right there needs to be on top of your link. Then what you're gonna do is you're going to take 1/2 of the leather and you're gonna go over the top of the link, creating like a little loop right here. Then you're gonna take that remaining leather, go through the link, and then up through the loop, like so. Pull that tight. And then the next step, you're gonna go under the link, pull the leather through the link, and then go through the loop. So the trick is to start the first one, you go over the link, the second half of the knot, you go under the link. As long as you go over, under, they'll all end up perfect. And the cool thing about this project is you can totally tell if you make a mistake because it doesn't look right. So here we go. Next one, we're just gonna keep going with that. You go, take the leather over the link, go through the center of the link, and then back through your loop. Next half of the knot, we're gonna go under the link, through the center, and then through your loop. So you can see I've got 1, 2, 3 lark's head knots right there. So keep going with that. You're gonna go about halfway around the circle with the one piece of leather, then we're gonna switch leather and go the other half. So over and then under, I'm on under. And so if you need to see it again, let me do it slow again for you one more time. We're gonna go take your leather, go over the link, through the link, and then up through the loop. That's half your knot. Then you're gonna go under the link, through the loop, pull it tight. And so now I've got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. So just kind of keep on going like that. Over, and as you get good at it, you almost can do it all in one step rather than kind of thinking the whole thing through. But as long as you go over and under and over and under, it's gonna look great. So we're just gonna continue in that fashion until we get about halfway around this link. I made a mistake, and you can tell I made a mistake because see how funny that looks right there? I actually went under instead of over. So you always have to make sure that you do this over, then under, instead of over, then under, right? No, over then under instead of under then over. And I went under. See, I went under. But what I needed to do here, after I've completed a knot, you always have to bring the leather over and through. So you can get going kind of fast and then you realize you made a mistake, but you can see it. It's very obvious. It looks terrible. Now the other thing that I'm doing is, you can see I'm keeping those knots on the outside of the link. If you go like this, see, you can pull them up to the top like so, but this is almost reversible if you keep the knots on the outside like that. Like you can see it looks the same on both sides. So always keep your knots on the outside. So this is going to be the last one for this piece of leather, and then I'm going to switch to the other side. And the reason I did 2 pieces of leather like this is, there's actually a couple of reasons. One is that's a lot of leather to work with if you try to work with 3 feet. And the other reason is when you're done wrapping the whole thing is you actually end up with some leather on either side. So technically speaking, you could make this into an earring, or you could use it to make a necklace too, which is kind of cool. So, and if you used even more leather, you see where I'm going with that, you could actually have even more leather to work with. So there's lots of different options with this project. So once you get the whole thing wrapped like so, you can see I've got some extra leather here, and I'm just going to trim that off here today. But at the back, I took just a little bit of this GS Hypo Cement, and right where my 2 little leather pieces are coming out, I just put a little drop of that cement on there. Now the reason I use Hypo Cement is because it's a really great glue. It's as strong as super glue, but it doesn't break down over time. It stays a little bit flexible, so it holds my knots in place, but it doesn't leave that little white residue, and it doesn't get crunchy. So I always use that for any type of textile project. So then I'm just going to trim off the excess leather here. Make sure you don't trim off any of your knots, just trim off your excess leather with my flush cutter, like so. And then you can see from the front, you can't even see that. So that is my leather link. And then all you have to do essentially is assemble your pieces. So this is going to be my whole piece here. I've actually taken a quick link here, jump ring, and I actually cut this one. You could also just use an open jump ring. This is about a 10mm round jump ring. And you're just going to twist that open like so, and attach it to your link, and then attach another link, and then twist those closed. And then we are going to take an ear wire, and making sure that front side's front, I'm just going to attach that to the ear wire like that. And so pretty cool. When I finish this other one, I can do the same thing. So we'll just finish this one up. So coming to the other side, same thing. Always make sure that you have your knots facing up, and then go over the link and through and under and through. And then check, make sure it looks the same, because if it doesn't look the same, you're upside down, and then continue. So bring that leather over, through the link and through the loop, and then bring it under, through the link and through the loop. And you can see this is really quick. I mean, I think this would be a cool bangle too. I haven't done this yet, but I've decided that this would be a really fun leather bangle if you actually had a bangle that was soldered shut. That'd be so cool. And this is Leather Cord USA leather that I'm using, and it's really, really soft, supple leather. And that's the key to making this project work. If you use a leather that's not super soft and supple, it makes it really hard to knot. So if you're struggling, it's not you, it's your leather. Just saying. All right. So I'm almost finished. I just keep accidentally going the wrong direction. So let's go over. And I've got about 5 knots left to go, and we'll be completely done with this project. Over. And then when I finish this time, I'll show you guys the tip of that Hypo Cement so you can kind of see how this all goes together. And you don't want, see when I'm down here at the bottom, you want to make sure you really fill in all the space. So even that almost doesn't look like enough space to make a knot, go ahead and push the leather to either side and make a knot so you fill in all the space. Just like so. So now those two look the same. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to take this Hypo Cement. You can see it's got that tiny little applicator on the end. Just put just a little drop right here and a little drop right here, and let that dry just for a few minutes, and then you'll be ready to trim. So same thing here, we're just gonna trim, and assemble. So chain nose, link, and ear wire. Ta-da! So just to remind you, some of the tools and supplies you're going to need for your project, you will need a couple basic tools, a flush cutter and a pair of chain nose pliers. And as far as supplies are concerned, you're going to need 3 feet of leather per earring, so a total of 6 feet, 3 quick links in 3 different sizes, some GS Hypo Cement, and a pair of ear wires. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys would like to pick up some supplies like the ones I worked with today, check out the links down below. What other leather looks would you like to see us create? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. And now that you know a little bit about making knotted leather hoop earrings, you can say, I made this.